station, Real FM. Ho, ho, ho!
This is correct.
You asking me what is wrong with Trinidad? You can't understand why things go on so bad. You find we so rich in human resources, and yet the country going to pieces. Well, let me tell you, my friend, where we went wrong. After Eric Williams' old car breakdown, we called in an AR, we ordered an X-car and installed a new driver. With 33 passengers from the party, we gave him a maxi taxi, fitted with Mac wheels, tape deck, computer, air conditioned 8-cylinder. With posh new fittings, this maxi car arrived. Then it started to swerve and nosedive. It took a year for passengers to realize. They say the new driver
cannot drive. Igwe.
Yeah, man.
KB. Put your mic in your face, man. And to hear all you.
Yeah, good afternoon, man.
Good day, folks. Good day, KB. Good day, the Igwe. KB, this program today, Independent Talk, is dedicated to those who are victimized, KB, those who are persecuted, and those who are simply confused by the National Democratic Congress. Now, KB, in the last week, we all believed at one time that the National Democratic Congress have a true dislike for the poor, the marginalized, and the vulnerable. But based on the utterances of the Honorable Dennis Cornwall, we are now recognizing that they take it to an all-new low. They assaulted the debushing program from 2008 to 2013 by one, increasing the hours, by two, taking out $10, and the third one was taking one person off the gang. But the assault pending now, KB, is to make it too full. KB, I'll give you the opportunity to speak on it.
Yeah, good afternoon, listeners of Real FM. Happy to be here once again. And Master Carl, thank you for having me.
KB, that's your program. You have me.
Yes. Master Carl, a couple of days ago, I heard the talk around that the NDC wants to bring the road walk, the debushing program, from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. When I heard it first time, I said that look as rumor. Again, somebody mentioned it to me. Somehow I couldn't come to terms with that reality. I went to a funeral, a young lady who died in Rose Hill the other day. I went to that funeral in Sotez, and I heard people mentioning it, assembling little clique, discussing it outside the church. 8 to 4? No, that was song in real. You sure you all really heard what Mr. Cornwall said? We went to bury the young lady up in Mali. Again, that conversation continue in the cemetery. Then I went to the happy hour in the back of Rose Hill. Again, that conversation continue. And I asked myself, in this modern day and age, how could you asking the poor and the most vulnerable people in the society to walk on the road from 8 to 4? I said, no, I pinched myself. I said, something wrong. Why the NDC declare war on road workers? What caused that? I know the last time the NNP had increased the road workers pay from with an extra $10. I was in NDC that time. And as soon as NDC take power, they took off the $10 as a means of punishing the people in the debushing program, because they perceive these are NNP supporters. I feel that was the worst thing that could ever happen to the woodworkers. I couldn't imagine the NDC were prepared to dish out more punishment than what they already done by punishing them to work from 8 to 4. That is the reason why we wondering why all NDC rushing, fighting to get contract, fighting to get checker, fighting to get managers, because they knew what was coming. They knew the hard work was coming, the punishment was coming. So they all securing themselves. Big confusion in the NDC office. Everybody want checker. Everybody want supervisor. Everybody want contract. No one prepared to do the hard work on the road. That work is being reserved for the NNP supporters. And they hope by punishing them, making them work from 8 to 4 will break their spirit. That is why my friend Kem Jones and all them saying, let they work under you. Let KB and them go and sweep the market. Make sure you're in control of them. Pressure them. Take revenge. The only crime they could accuse these poor people of committing is because they vote for NNP or they wear a green jersey. That is the only crime they're accusing them of committing. Now, this don't surprise me. This don't surprise me. Because look at the NNP. The people who support the NNP, most of them, the leaders, they are overseer children, managers' children from the estate. They are children of the overseers. And we'll tell you, the worst slave on the plantation is not the field slave, you know. It's the house slave, the manager, the overseer, the driver. These are people, the NDC are children from these people. So they always feel they should be in a position to dictate, to manage, to oppress, because they always claim that they are the superior group of people. They are the brightest set. You understand? When I question someone about this 8 to 4, on the back of poll, they say, keep Mitchell giving out too much handout. Let them work for the money. They had it too easy. They had it too easy before. Let them work for the money. Because Mr. Cornwall said they don't get in value for money. So put pressure on them. I was genuinely perplexed. I was puzzled as to why these words came out of Mr. Cornwall's mouth. I genuinely perplexed. And in this modern day and age, if you tell someone that, it will tax the power of belief. They'll say that is not true. Mr. Cornwall never said that. NDC will never do something like that. But it's a fact. Reality. They always see the road worker as the political enemy. What political threat? A poor old woman getting 1 fortnight for the year. 432 she getting. 432. Once a year she getting 432. What political threat these people could be to the NNP, to the NDC? What political threat? And I think they forget, mistake they're making, how we are poor NNP, we have poor NDC too. Or we have poor NNP going after the roadwork, so you have poor NDC going after the roadwork. So if you feel in attempt to victimize the NNP, you will not victimize some of your own people, you're in trouble. You wonder what will happen. I mean, Master Carl, not making this thing a reality is one thing, making sure that these people work from 8 to 4 is one thing, but just entertaining the idea to ask people to stay on the road, walk on the road from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. You must have a heart of stone. You must have a heart of stone. That shows you have no feeling for the poor and vulnerable in the society. How could you take revenge on these poor people because you perceive they're voting for NNP? Why you take revenge on them? Why you declare war on the road workers? When you're negotiating for salary, they have nothing to get. Back pay, they have nothing to get. Pension, they have nothing to get. Duty-free concession, they have nothing to get. All they getting is 1 fortnight a year. That you feel is too much for them. You call them greedy. You call them dunce. You call them stupid. 1 fortnight a year, 432. You say you're getting value for money. And we know when there is road work in this country, bus driver glad. Shopkeepers glad. Because the multiplying effect, it helps stimulate the economy, things moving. In some countries, they just pump money in the society like that in order for people to buy and spend money, stimulate the economy. You don't see it as a means of handout only. See it as a means of helping the business, help the bossmen making money, the small shop in the countryside making money, the people able to send their children to school. People just plan what they do with the 432 long before they get employed. This thing is very painful, very painful. And we call on the NDC to squash that idea. Squash it. And Grenadians, don't accept it. This 8 to 4, tell the NDC, keep that for themselves and go and walk all your garden. Plant your okra. Plant your fig. Don't let them exploit you, oppress you, victimize you. These days when you have to pay your bills, is bills and more bills. Inflation out of control. People cannot make ends meet. The people continue to cry. People continue to suffer due to the high cost of living. And on top of that, you're victimizing them. On top of that, you're punishing them. You want to break the spirit of the NNP supporters. But I'll tell you, you all wouldn't make it. The NNP people, they are strong people. They are committed. They understand sacrifice. They understand pressure. Because all their life, been trying to make ends meet. The NNP did what they can to help these people. Roadwork, help the children through Imani, help the children get scholarship, help the children get with books, transportation, lunch, uniform. We always look for the poor and vulnerable in the NNP. Because as Dr. Mitchell said, we have that moral obligation to look after those who left behind, not to victimize them, not to punish them because of the kind of clothes they wear or the party they support. How could you want to unite a society? You want to build country. You're talking about transformation. You want unity. And you want to punish the NNP people. But you're glad to accept the $530 million you met in the treasury. The supporters of the NNP who support the New National Party is their idea, their plan, their policy that caused you to inherit $530 million. The same NNP supporters you're punishing you don't like. Is their policy responsible for all the mega project throughout the country you're embracing right now? The same NNP people you're punishing, responsible for peace and industrial peace in this country, attract foreign investors. You get this country a peaceful country. You get this country well managed by the New National Party. You get this country well managed financially by Gregory Bowen and his team. You get it on a silver platter. We expect you to say thank you, not to turn around and punish those NNP. Not to turn around and victimize them and tell them from now on, you have to work from 8 to 4 because you want to take revenge. Mr. Cornwall, something you really understand what you really say to the people, Mr. Cornwall? You from River Valley, a poor area, a lot of people depend on road work. How could you just even entertain the thought? That's more to make it a reality. To ask the poor people to stay in the hot sun or in the rain from 8 to 4. I was speaking to one of the NDC supporters last night. That same discussion came up. And when the guy told me, yes, KB, they should work from 8 to 4, bring it back. People been getting away too much easy thing. The NNP had it too easy on the road. They're going home too early. I used to warn listeners on this program, don't make a mistake. and elect people with Stone Age mentality to run country in modern times. They go bring us back to old time days. I always say that. I always say these people will bring us back to old time days. Don't make a mistake and elect people with Stone Age mentality. They see it as necessary to bring workers back on the road to work from 8 to 4. They may ask the agricultural worker on the estate to work from 8 to 4 again. That tells you one thing. Something about poor people NDC don't like. Something about poor people they don't like. They always see them as a threat. They always see them as the political enemy and trying to get back at them. But I said, no, you get back at the leaders of the New National Party. Back at the political activists of the New National Party. Attack the policy of the New National Party. But leave poor people out of it. Mr. Carl, is a lot of pain. You understand? I tell you, I'm genuinely perplexed. I'm puzzled as to why Mr. Cornwall makes such statement. But he's Minister of Works. He's Minister of Works. I expect him carrying out the policy of the party and of the government. But there is consequence. There is consequence. Mr. Carl.
Yeah, caller. Let's take that caller.
Hello.
Hey, Kiwi. What's up, brother?
Kiwi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, man. KB boy, I don't know what's going on in this country, boy. So many men going on the breadline, so many men and women going on the breadline. People getting fired daily, and nobody saying nothing. I ain't hearing nothing from the other side. I don't know what happened if the NNP gone numb, mum, deaf, dumb, or what the situation is. But I ain't seeing no leadership coming from the NNP. You understand? We need some guidance. We need Dr. Mitchell to tell us something, or else let's put somebody in place to tell us something. Nobody's speaking on the behalf of the NNP. You understand? Something has to be done. I can't take it again. Have a good evening.
That is your opinion. What would you see? Mr. Carl?
KB. Now, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, is practicing what I call leadership by avoidance. Come November 21st this year, KB, what we see now will be pale in comparison to what will happen to after November 21st. When the people on the Public Service Commission Board will be changed. So what we see now is just a prelude to the massacre what will start. Now, the Honorable Prime Minister, and I'm saying all that to start to deal with the Bushin issue. I'm not going away from it. But before I deal with this issue, I want to play a clip where it is instructive that Dr. Kit Mitchell made a particular statement in Parliament. Play that clip for me, Igwe. Because I like to build my case. I don't like to just come here and run my mouth. I like to build my case.
Put everybody, put all Imani under permanent staff. Put all nurses under permanent. Put all, everybody. Just put them because you're wicked if you don't do it. Yes. Go in government. Go into government and do that and find out who's going to support you. Go, then you will find out and they'll say, I didn't understand and I did not know. That's why you have to come in to a training school first and learn before you become the Hefe.
So Dr. Keith Mitchell was just giving proper advice, KB.
Of course, yes.
You can't just say you go do everything without having appreciation, without having the institutional knowledge of what is to happen. So our Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, is practicing what I term leadership by avoidance. He made all the promises to the people on the campaign. He go trap seaweed with the net. By the stroke of a pen, he go make people permanent. Even though he had to borrow to pay pension, he go do it. That's his words. Now, the reality sets in, KB. And he realize he don't speaking no more. He turned the travel king now. Every time you ask about him, he out of state. And Dennis Cornwall deputizing. Follow me here now, KB. So, when he was on the campaign, he promised heaven, earth, silver, gold, the pearly gates. You know, they say in heaven near the pearly gates and streets of jasper. You understand? He promised all that. And the Christians and them and others say, sit down and allow that. So on the 23rd of June, 4 months ago, to today's date, KB, 4 months ago, let me see, July, August, September, October, 4 months ago, they join and they choose Barabbas over Christ. They tell Pilate, give us Barabbas and kill Christ on the 23rd of June. So now, the reality of governance hits them. And he stopped talk, cat eat his tongue. He mouth zip. So Sister Claudia, the AG, is the first one who come and say, this thing about making people permanent can't work, contract workers, because the IMF warn us. And we go blow the public service. That was the main pillar of his promises, pie in the sky. So when we say pie in the sky, then they vex. But Claudia come and vindicate us and tell us, oh, yes, indeed was pie in the sky. Then she spoke of the pension. She said how it is written is on. I just given a back thing to go where I want to go with the Honorable Dennis Cornwall. So now Dennis Cornwall, the representative for St. Patrick's East, he say, watch, the bushing thing is a problem. You know how he call it? Gimmick. Political gimmick. But Dennis Cornwall forget, the Honorable Dennis Cornwall, forget that all the gimmicks was promising people permanent, promising the Imani permanent, and promising to pay pension even though we have to borrow to pay, and there was no need to have a committee to pay. That was the gimmicks. So now, like I say, KB, the National Democratic Congress, the cabal, has always laid an assault on the poor and vulnerable people of this country, punishing them because they believe that more poor people, what they call them, greedy dons and poor people, support the NNP. So anytime they get into power, they look to persecute. And not my words I using, I don't just talking, to persecute, to victimize, which simply means singling out people for cruel and unjust treatment, KB. And what they do with the letters is cruel and unjust. They didn't give them natural justice to even defend themselves. What they continue to do even last week or week before, they did polls, cruel and unjust. So it qualifies victimization. So not come and talk about victimization, I don't just talk. I quantify why I say so. And what the Honorable Dennis Cornwall is proposing for the debushers is to single out the debushers for cruel and unjust treatment. Unjust treatment to the fact they have to work in the hot sun from 8 to 4. But before, if they want to implement it as a policy, KB, my thing is, tell Dennis for me, he and Lacko and them, go and work a week in the hot sun 8 to 4, and they go recognize. The other point I need to make, KB, everything is our science and technology now. So they might want to take us backward. Well, they say transformation, so transformation cannot be the same. So maybe that part of the transformation is to take us backward. Because we have weed workers, weed eaters as people call it. So where a man would have take 3 hours to cut something, that happening in half an hour, okay, be that with what kind?
Except they want to use cutlass.
So has he considered that, KB, under the reign of the new National Party, where Capo used to pass, car drive in oil?
Of course, yes.
Where Mongo used to run, bus traveling in oil? But here comes the Minister of Infrastructure, the representative, parliamentary representative for St. Patrick East, and say they have to bring the road work 8 to 4. So the question I need to ask, KB, because I like to ask questions that mean something, is, because I explain what victimization is victimizing the persons who you deem to be NNP by bringing that. Is it transformation we should expect? Because the Honorable Dennis Cornwall ought to know that most people in his constituency depends on that. He ought to know that. And if he don't know something, so Lazarus, tell Dennis for me. A lot of people in St. Patrick East constituency depending on this thing. So Lazarus, you and the man good. Please, Mr. Lazarus, the mass man, tell him for me. Secondly, KB, I need to ask him, is transformation taking advantage on poor people and poor people children?
Part of the transformation.
The next thing I need to ask him, and I have to address it on that because he was in Moline, when they turned the sword again, boy, and the man say, watch, transformation is about pain. Transformation is about sacrifice. And transformation is about challenges and so on. But use the word pain. So they put in the bushels through pain. So that is transformation. But the Honorable Dennis Cornwall, you talk about value for money, and I like where you're going with that. Because we all want value for money. The fact that the debushing has become mechanized, men using weed whackers and so on, so they don't have to bend and cut. They might have to trim the overhang with cutlass. It takes them less time to accomplish it. So are you saying when the contract, are you saying the work, they're not doing enough work? Because remember, I don't know if you know, but I will say it. When somebody signs a contract for the debushing KB, they give them a quantum of work to do.
Of course.
It's like you give a man a job.
Yeah.
So you don't tell the man how to do the job. Once he gets it done, now if you're not satisfied with the quality, you deal with the persons in charge, like the supervisors. But you don't punish the people. So then you talk about value for money. Dennis Cornwall, Honorable Dennis Cornwall. You just come within 4 months, you get an increase of $2,000. Are we getting value for money from you? That is the question you have to ask first. And when you satisfy yourself with the answer, then you go move on to them. Are we getting value for money? Because you're making only excuses. You don't have office. But you didn't have office during the campaign and everybody's seeing you. During the campaign, Dennis Cornwall, you didn't have an office. But the people used to see you. So stop jackassing the thing and telling people you don't have office. That won't fly. And seeing that You bring up value for money, Dennis Cornwall, Honorable. Are we getting value for money from you? The $2,000 that you get. My good friend Brian Grimes, are we getting value for money from the Honorable Dennis Cornwall for the $2,000 he get increase in salary? Let me take the call again.
Hello.
Good afternoon
Good afternoon.
to the panel men there, Mr. Carl, KB, and the other
Igwe.
guy. Igwe, good afternoon.
The other one.
Yes, and good afternoon to the Grenadian people who is listening home and abroad. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Dr. Mitchell if you're listening. I would like him to be listening on a Sunday. Yes. I listened to Mr. Cornwall in a meeting in Success they had on the TV. And that man talk about 8 to 4. This is slavery? We back in slavery time, sir.
The olden days.
I would have liked that man to send his children, give them a fortnight on the room. Or your wife, sir, or some family member close to you. This is advantage, and I won't even say he's no MP and minister or you styling him. He don't need that. He don't deserve that name. And I want to know if he come from a rich family. If his family was rich people in Grenada. You understand? I don't understand. As a Grenadian, you want somebody to work 8 to 4 in the hot sun and in the rain. They're the same people that you want to work 8 to 4. Most of these people is NDC supporters. You don't know who they vote for, sir. And look at you now. You're calling down for them to work 8 to 4. Slavery, like Hitler. Hitler law in this country now. One man on a radio station now come from a poor background family saying to punish them. You own people you're punishing. I wonder if you all, the ministers in government now, if all you could sleep good at night. Remember, you won't live forever. What goes around comes around, sir. You all have to think again. You know, you're taking credit for all the hard work that the Grenadian people did. Somebody mentioned about the roads. Waiting half with can, bus couldn't pass. Under the NNC now, people walking nights, car driving in and out. You all taking credit for that. You all have the decency to even come on the radio and say, well, thanks for what they did. You know, you all should never go down that road, Mr. Cornwall. Or you shouldn't go down that road at all. I tell myself that you all will do better. I tell you to do better. And to the first caller that calling on Dr. Mitchell, don't call on Dr. Mitchell. Don't call on nobody. You have to blame we ourselves that make that decision and put us in that mess we in today and say nobody is speaking out. We that choose that. Dr. Mitchell and the rest of ministers explain to us during the time of campaign. They explain all these things to us. So we make that choice. Take what all you get. Take what all you get. But I will never, as long as I live in, will never. I don't want that day work with the NDC. I rather pound stone. Pound stone. Because nobody going back to them days to work 8 to 4 in rain and sun. In this time with technology and the whole world listening, that's the advantage you're taking on your own people. Or they don't like nobody, or they don't love nobody, or they don't like nobody. And that man down the radio running him out. Make KB and them work hard. Thank God. Thank God. I can make you with a Scott of 5 children. And I won't work under all you. Grenadians, don't take them work. Sell marijuana to mine you damn children, excuse me for the language. Sell marijuana to get money to send out with all your children because they say they're going to legalize it. That's what all you have to do. Let he go and walk the road. Send your children, sir. Send your children. Send your kids. Or put your wife, give her a fortnight on the road. Let you see how it feels to take advantage of black people. I don't want to listen to you all, you know. Like wickedness. God is in charge. I hope you are listening. I hope all you tuning and listening. God is in charge of this universe. Or you hope they are coming to you all one day. One day, Congo tell people say, the tears of this Grenadian people are on your back. You don't do that to people.
People's cry.
You don't do that to black people. Remember where you come from, sir. Remember your old background with your mom and dad that work under cocoa too. And remember some people in this country that help you out to go to school to get a good education. You want to take out revenge and poor people in this country. What goes around comes around. It's just a matter of time. Time will tell. Time will tell. I'm KB. All you have a good evening.
Take
Have
care.
a good evening. I'm listening.
All right, comes. And KB, what perplexes me, or what behooves me, KB, is the fact that the first sitting of the House of Representatives and the first sitting of the upper house, KB, the new people, most from the NDC cabal, KB, the thing that hinged all together was the fact that they say, KB, we come from poor parentage. We poor people children. But as you get into government, KB, poor people children you're going after.
Victimization. High cost of living.
The AG say what your mother had to do to get them. Laco say. Tevin say. Persuader say. All of them, KB. The thing they had in common was we come from poor people. We know about poor. We come from poor people. But as you reach in government, you knee on the necks of poor people like Floyd.
Your policy is anti.
The poor people saying they can't breathe, but you're laughing. And you're saying, Kit Mitchell, so give too much freeness. The poor people crying. KB, the poor people have to pay the same taxes that Dennis Cornwall and them paying. But Dennis Cornwall and them get $2,000 increase in salary. And he coming and talk about value for money. Dennis, are you giving the Grenadian public value for money for the $2,000 increase you get in salary? But you're talking about poor people, children don't work in a value for money. But KB, let me be realistic. If you believe one, because I believe things should be improved, and I'm in no way condoning the fact that there could not be an improvement in the debushing program, KB, because we have to be fair. Some people on the debushing program so jackass the thing. And I agree in one point with Dennis, so you see when them men them caught they leave anything on the roadside and they going back in the drain. I always talk about that. Some contingency should be put in place when they have this thing and allow it not to go back and clog up the drain. I agree. So if you need to fix that, fix that. Secondly, if you believe, because you come under the guise of value for money, because listen, they always come in with the excuses there, KB. When they wanted to take the $2,000, you know what they say? They to pay drivers and how they thief in the gas in Central. Got people taking more than they should take. That was what they say. Lying and saying how they to pay drivers and about the gas thing in Central. So now if you want to tweak the debushing program, all well and good. Have some serious meetings with the supervisors and say, hey, it's not business as usual. Here's what we want to do. If you find they're finishing too fast because it's finishing fast is the problem.
With it as.
So give them more work. But Kevin, what is instructive to note? And when that why I style the program confusing, KB. When a man campaign, it's called the minimum wage, you know. you have done nothing for the minimum wage. And just so Honorable Dennis Cornwall, people are even working on estate and under cocoa, because I know that. Cap and them know about under cocoa. They don't working up to 4 o'clock, you know, Kim?
No.
Even estate workers do working up to 4 o'clock, Mr. Cornwall.
By time 12 they gone.
But what is instructive here, KB, is you have not addressed the minimum wage, but you start talking about value for money. So until and unless, Mr. Cornwall, you and the NDC do address the minimum wage, value for money is not something you have moral authority to speak on. Because you get $2,000, you don't work for 4 months yet. You get $2,000 increase in pay. But people who are depending on them, I get 1 fortnight a year. The little goat head every day, you want to say no. You're saying you don't get in value for money. But you get $2,000 for doing nothing. And you receive the $2,000, and every time the people of the constituency ask you a question, you excuse you don't have office. But during the campaign, you didn't have office. But they used to see you. Now you win. And you don't need the support until 500 days. You're talking about value for money. And how you do have furniture in your office. You didn't have furniture when you should go and meet them under cocoa and go out in the land. You didn't have furniture when they rolling up goodies in jerseys and give them. You didn't have office. So how now you talking about you don't have office, and then you talking about the debushers about value for money? Honorable Dennis Cornwall, the $2,000, are you giving the people of St. Patrick's East value for money? That question you could answer. But the people has already answered. And KB, what is instructive to note, I was so surprised, KB, when persons I know who are very, very strong NDCC, they don't want back that man again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Already, you know.
Yeah, a couple of NDC told me they don't want Cornwall back.
People are in the executive branch of the constituency saying that about you, you know. Well, I don't know what happened with you and Lazarus, because they're saying all kind of things. I don't know what happened with you and Lazarus. But Lazarus, ask the Honorable Dennis Cornwall for me. Is he providing value for the $2,000 increase in salary he received to the people of St. Patrick's East and by extension Grenada? So if you want to talk about value for money, let's have that discussion. Let's have the discussion about minimum wage. Because you cannot speak about value for money and time spent. And there you go with this thing, you know. KB, value for money has nothing to do with time spent. Because watch this, KB. The debushers, somebody working 432 a fortnight. Huh?
432, yeah.
So let me say they get 2 fortnights back to back. That's 864.
Yeah, that's for the year.
No, I don't bright. I don't. I just a commoner. I go in Moncton primary and Moncton secondary, but I don't bright. I didn't go under the school. But Annlin, Pauline make no fool. Let me get down to brass tacks based on what Dennis is saying. Because he's talking about time, eh?
Yeah.
So even though we agree with his argument, let's agree with his argument for argument's sake. Now, 432 and 432 equal like 864, am I right? Because I don't want to embarrass myself on national platform.
No, you're safe.
864. So I could say that. So 864 a month. So 864 a month, you want them work 8 to 4. So how much time 864 could go into 2,000? Well, we just gain 2 and the rest. We don't think 2 times. So if we're talking about time, then it's kind of you have to work 16 hours for the money you're getting. And the rest are 20 hours. So you don't giving us value for money with time, KB. So if you want to beat up on poor people, children about time, then it's Cornwall. You have to work in almost 24 hours for that $2,000 you get to give us value for money. Because you say they're going too early. And the excuse of what your constituency don't see in you. because you don't have office. You don't give in the people of St. Patrick East Valley for money. And by extension, the people of Grenada. So clean the thing in your eye first, Dennis. And then you go address the bushers. But that was the plan you have all along. Because you see how what NNP giving them is gimmick. Because I don't want NNP give them is gimmick. But the gimmick we're talking about, Dennis, is the people that I promise to make permanent with the stroke of a pen. They're all the words, not mine. The people always say, I'll go pay the pension. and KB, they don't like when you talk about pension and retroactive. Retroactive is a one-off. Pension is a continuing something. So they say they paying pension in November. So I say, well, okay. All your bright eye dons, all you paying pension. But pension, so the same month you're paying in the end of it, you go pay it in December. Then January, then February, tell me no. Well, I say they're not pension. Pension is something you get until you're dead. Once you qualify, once the state decide to give you. So that is the thing. And then when Sister Claudette say how it is written in the 1958 laws, it is unsustainable. Well, my thing, KB, you is a mind the revolution, the PRG. And we're hearing the term about pension reform. KB, they're using this term pension reform. But the PRG reform pension when they brought in the NIS, because they say not one set of people that should get pension. But what is instructive to note, KB, they begin up everything about the PRG. They even raise white flag. And KB, as we at it, I don't want to forget. I heard the Honorable Ron Redhead, what is his name?
Yeah.
Was
talk,
on the
talk
foot.
up, KB. Talk up. We can't hear you.
Was on the, and he saying how next year will be a holiday. I thought the Prime Minister and the GGM want to do that. I didn't know any minister could just go and say we will give a holiday sometime. Because he didn't make a proviso before and say, well, I'm speaking for the project manager.
Holiday for what, Master Carl?
Ask, well, I'm telling you, he didn't say how he's speaking for the travel king. You see, you'll give a holiday next time, so next year. So what my point is, KB, you begin up the revolution so much. And the revolution instituted pension reform when they repealed the 1958 laws and bring in the NIS regulation. But you jump for joy when the court ruling come out. So all you're confusing people. So when I talk about confusing, KB, I'm not just using words.
Yeah.
They're confusing because you're talking about pension reform now. The PRG reform pension. You bigging up everything out Maurice Bishop, even they calling Maurice Bishop. And I want that clip get because they'll feel alive. When they call the spirit of Maurice Bishop, because when you hear that, they just want to say, no, that was see. Line up that clip next. You calling Maurice Bishop. They reform pension, and what you do? When the ruling of the 1958 come, you jump up here. So they're supporting colonialism when it suits them, KB.
Yeah.
And then they supporting socialism when it suits them. So they're confusing me. I don't know for your case, but I'm confused. Because you say now, when the ruling come out, you say, we go pay even though we have to borrow. Dr. Keith Mitchell in his wisdom said unions come. Because, and Dr. Keith Mitchell so believe in the love of the people of Grenada and the people, because when he offered it earlier to the union, when they signed the MOU in 2018 before the election, KB, they walk out, they say they want gratuity, and we know gratuity is just a forward payment. And he go walk himself out in 12 and a half years. KB. So, you say you celebrate when the ruling come out. You tell the unions not to go and talk with Dr. Mitchell because it is a constitutional matter.
Foregone conclusion.
That you see, it's a constitutional matter. No discussion. Pay the money. But the AG, Sister Claudette. But I recognize what the travel king, the project manager doing. Anybody feel you don't want, because they already sit down and sign the fate of Dennis Cornwall because some of them among the services they don't want him again. So they could use him to come and talk this jackassness about debushing 824. So the Philip people vex with him and they don't want him back. It's a good thing for them. They know Claudette can beat Peter in tongue. So they don't care. They know she won't win. So they're using them to talk. They don't care about that on them. They riffraff. They could get shown that the boss ego. But what thing you're talking about pension reform? You're talking about discussion with the union. When you told the union, you legally advise them, don't talk to Dr. Kit Mitchell because it is a constitutional matter. Has the matter status moved from being a constitutional one, KB? So now the union could go and discuss it? Brian Grimes, my good friend, I want to know because I have faith in you. I still believe in you, Brian. I still believe in you, Brian. Because they don't, some of them don't want you around too because they find you don't speaking what they're speaking. Brian, don't let them pummel you into thing. Don't raise no white flag like the one they raise on food, Judge Brian. In this time, you can't raise white flag, Brian.
Master Khan, what sacrifice Mr. Cornwall want the people of the country to make?
I don't know.
To work from 8 to 4?
Yes. But he don't make any sacrifice. He making excuse about office.
These people working 1 fortnight a year, they get in, you know. You still wanted to make sacrifice?
But what is instructive, KB? The same revolution and the PRG, the thing in. The PRG created marketing body. No, it is alleged that they want to sell marketing board. Something the PRG is so proud of. The PRG created the whole pension thing, and they're trying to lay it at the doorstep of Dr. Kit Mitchell. When Dr. Kit Mitchell was the only leader in this country, KB, what had the backbone to try to deal with pension. You understand, KB?
Of course, yes.
That is the deceit. Are these people are not, KB? That is the deceit. So that's what confusing people. Because the PM who say regularization is by the stroke of a pen, and the PM who say contract work is illegal. And then the AG say this thing can't happen. The IMF warn us. So anytime I hear these people I'm talking KB, I is a man from a religious background. I tell all my friends, KB, let it well be with all your soul because the world coming to an end. Because when the Prime Minister tell you, is this thing I'm so easy to do? And then the AG saying this thing and them so difficult to do. But I tell all my friends and them, all Gates and them, I say, by straighten your life.
The difference, Master Call,
straighten your life, the world coming to an end.
One said when they were out of power, and the next one said
there's not no difference, KB. That's the tomfoolery. Because you two main pillars to convince the Grenadian public to support you, KB. Don't give them no credit and say out of office. Because I want them and the people. I say lack of institutional knowledge is a problem. KB, I ask you the question here. I say, KB, you is a man. When it comes to the revolution thing, men can tell you. A lot of them are talking revolution, KB, is what people say to them.
What are you hearing, Rum Shop, man?
I say, KB, what you think cause the revolution to mash up and KB say Master Carl? Bernard say,
yeah,
youthful arrogance and inexperience. And we want the people.
Yeah, deadly
we say, when they say pass the ball, we agree the ball should be passed. But we ask the question to who? Let me hear the clip they agree because I want people to hear when they call on Morris Bishop. I want people to hear. I don't want them to believe me or just saying anything. Here, listen to this clip.
Today is the 29th of May. And on the 29th of May, in 1944, one of Grenada's greatest heroes was born. Kill the Huns, kill the horns. I want you to stand with me, P.T. Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada. Put on your flashlights. As we observe 1 minute of silence to one of our heroes. On the 29th of May, 1944, God gave to us Maurice Bishop. On the 29th of May, 1944, God gave to us Maurice Bishop. He made the ultimate sacrifice for the people. He made the ultimate sacrifice for the people of P.T. Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada by laying down his life for us. And so it's only fitting, Maurice. It is only fitting that wherever you are, watching down upon us, that we let you know that, Maurice, we love you. That, Maurice, we missed you. Maurice, we miss our hero. And we wish you were around today because you would be 78 years old. And you would be proud to know that once more, the young men and women, the senior citizens, the churchgoers, the prayer warriors, the labor unions, the youth, the fishermen, the market vendors, the farmers.
Mm-hmm. So, Kiwi, I want to ask you one question. How old Maurice will have been now?
I'm not sure. It's about 70.
78.
78.
Somebody say that.
About 78.
How old is Dr. Kit Mitchell?
About 75.
So they say, so okay, when they say Kit Mitchell too old, yeah, too go. But they call him an older man than Dr. Kit Mitchell. So this thing is confusing, KB.
But you know,
and Honorable Prime Minister, you calling Maurice, there's not a damn thing you could do now. Maurice waiting on the judgment. So you can do nothing now. So those Christians around you, Lacko, Senator Lacrette, tell the Prime Minister for me, Maurice could only wait for a judgment.
who was speaking there?
The Honorable Prime Minister, what they calling Maurice there?
Dick.
So the only thing Maurice could do now is to wait for a judgment? You can't do nothing else. We have a call, let's take it.
Hello?
Well, I just going to ask who was speaking there. Because Maurice Bishop, he didn't go to the ballot box for people to put a finger in to exercise their right, you know. They overthrow and take power. So what that man is saying there and calling on the Christian people that go on like candle and give away egg and do all kind of thing and ask God. I don't know who God they're praying to. They're praying to the true and living God for all the hard work that Dr. Mitchell and his team did put for Grenada, and now they regret it. This is the reason why, Brother Carl, none of the pastors and the priests and them in Grenada, Carriacou, will not come out and speak with what's going on in Grenada right now. Because they know what they did. All the prayer warriors they calling on, when they go on prayer meeting during the week in the church and gather, they won't come and say what they did and ask God to do for them, for this country. Why calling on prayer warriors? Prayer warriors in Grenada, and are you sending home poor people? You calling on the youth and the old people and market vendors, children in the Imani program that all you give letters. I mean, come on. I don't write. I don't go to no split school. I flake a writer. Boy, you can't fool me. Why you calling on these people and look what's going on today? Nobody telling us, you know, we living in Grenada, you know. And the same young people that you promised, Mr. Prime Minister, that you will make them permanent. They get letters, half of them. And by next week, some of them get in the rest of the letter. I mean, come on. You can't do that to people. What chauvinist is that? You all don't know about God? If we all know about God, or they don't hurting for people, we the poor nation. You take away bread from my neighbor and from me. What do you expect? Prostitution. People will go and thief. Because some people don't want to see the children crying and they're hungry. They're going to do wrong things. I already thought I would do better. You call on no youth because you sending home youth. You're taking away the parents' bread and butter from them out. When Mr. Connell and Miss Claudette and all the other ministers and them in parliament who are the senators and ministers will not say, let's don't do the people that. We can't do we own people that. Something wrong with all you? It's just time. Hey, Bishop, overthrow Gary, you know. As much as Grenadian, they love Morris. They overthrow. They didn't do the right thing to get in power, you know. That's why you see the same people turn on Bishop. The same people turn on Morris. They put him under house arrest. And then they still bring him up in the court and they kill him. What I'm telling you, I live in this country and I know the history of this country, you know. When you're talking about Bishop. I follow Bishop all over Grenada. I march with Morris. And you can't tell me nothing. I live in here and you cannot do me nothing. Because I believe in the true and living God. I don't believe in nobody to lighting candle and telling God something and it's not the true God you're speaking to. I look at what's going on in this country. Homosexual. All little young girls dressing like man. These are the things we must address in this country. Please give me a break this morning, Rastafari. Have a good day.
So one thing, KB, because Senator Lacrette used to be the one in the campaign praying a lot, KB. So that means he's a man, he purport to be a man of God. I just want to leave one little scripture with him so he could advise the Prime Minister. Ecclesiastes KB 12:7. He said, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, you know, and the spirit shall return unto God, the ancient of days who gave it him. So this calling young Morris Bishop thing, Laco, advise the man.
Carl, I don't even want to mention this Morris Bishop thing, you know. He's somebody's hero, but he's not my hero.
Mm-hmm.
As politician
Okay,
in this country,
you have to let people know.
Yeah, you have to let people know.
As politician in the country, the best prime minister that ever passed in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique is Dr. Kate Mitchell. Because if you look at the history of Gary, you can't tell me Gary was a good prime minister when he hired secret police to beat the political enemy. You cannot tell me Bishop was a good prime minister when he jailed all the political opponents.
Mm-hmm.
He closed down every newspaper. He banned every political party. And you say the man is a good man. I always say, stop telling lies to my children. You may have your problem with Kit Mitchell, but you cannot say he interfered with the electoral process. You cannot say he interfered with the press. You cannot say he stifled his political opponent. You can't say that about him. You cannot say he hired secret police to beat the political opponent.
A man say invoking spirit.
You cannot say he jailed his political opponent. Bishop jailed 3,000 political detainees without charge, without trial. Put 150 Rastas in a cattle pen in Whoville. He closed down every newspaper. He banned every political party. He jailed all his political opponents. You're saying he's a good man. Gary hired secret police to beat all his political opponents. Stifle the press. No one voice could be heard on radio. You say Gary is a good man. And the man who protect those rights, make sure you have that freedom, was Dr. Kit Mitchell. You saying he's a bad man. But I don't understand. I don't know good from bad. I said, while you're discussing history, be careful. Don't tell lies to the young people of this country. And no accident. When the young people of this country lost faith in the leadership, you expect the pants to fall not below the bottom, under the knee. When we deceive them, when we tell lies to them, when they lost confidence in us, you know, the pants will pass the bottom and go below the knee because they expect better from us. Stop telling lies to the young people of this country. The number to call, 442
0175.
0175.
We have a call. Let's take it.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hello.
KB, good afternoon. Mr. Carl.
Good afternoon.
Igwe, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
KB, you know, as you said about the best prime minister, all right? I mentioned about the bishop and what bishop did. Comparing bishop, Dr. Mitchell, and Gary, the ratio is about 1 to 8. Dr. Mitchell is in front. Because when you look at what it comes into with water, electricity, electrified, and bring current to everybody home, pipe and water in everybody home, and development in education in schools. Yes, Gary built a lot of schools, right? And with a lot of things, because when if you look at what happened, Greener expand. You had the bus terminal, the airport. Then you have the stadium, the cricket stadium, and the athletic stadium. This is development and better road for the farmers, right? And looking at the pension, because no government wants us to touch the pension with their own NS. But I remember Humphrey went to Representative said, please don't interfere.
Don't appeal it.
Don't appeal the case with Armstrong. And Dr. Mitchell, take it. That's why our 50 something workers was able to get about $4 something million for the pension. And because what NMP was saying, what they getting from NS was too small. So they added, so they're getting both from NS and the government. This is a government that cares about people. I'm giving you whatever you're looking at it. Yes, some people they forget where they came from. Their parents poor. Right? And when the parents send them to school and they achieve some things, they turn it back on the parents. They didn't know the parents. The plain, the big. But I always want to give them encourage, let them know. The higher you go, when you fall harder. You fall harder. When you fall, the same people in the bottom put your thing in. They may be the same one to come and help you up. Come and help you up. And what affects me about it again, that people see down there that's called themselves Christian, and they see the injustice that's going on with the poor people in the country, and they don't say nothing. How could you call yourself a Christian person and injustice going taking place within the poor class of people that need it, and would you in there sit down there and you don't say nothing, you rejoice about that. But I always like put a scripture in James 1, 19 to 27. You see, the engrafted word which is able to save your soul, and the engrafted word which is the word of God. You see, if we be a hearer of the word and not a doer, we're deceiving our own self. And we have, as Christians, we have to do what is right. We have to accept the word of God and put the word of God into action. No matter like I say, if a children do something wrong, you have to correct them. And I want to say again, people you talk about prayer warrior. And when a person go and pray, they pray for betterment of people, not for the worst of people. For people left to better. Right? Until one day come with it. Every bad thing have to come to an end. God is watching and God will bless and God will deal with the situation. We will continue, believe and stand upon the NLP supporters. Don't quit, let us stand united and we will rise and come again. So all of this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Mr. Carly, number to call 442
0175.
0175. The line open.
have a clip to play for you again,
Yes,
KB.
go right ahead.
Drop it.
Yeah.
All right.
Program until just before the Christmas. Again, we try to make sure that as much persons as possible be able to benefit from that. I also must say to you that we are not totally happy with the way that program is currently functioning. And there will be some tweaking to it, there will be changes to it, because we believe that to spend $20 million and not get value for money. I have passed through the country, I've seen roads clean, yeah, the bushing taking place, but then the grass is left on the roadside, only to be washed back in the drain and so on. People go to work from, let's say, 5 o'clock in the morning time, and by 9 o'clock they're home already. Every public servant or private sector employee works in Grenada for at least from 8 to 4. We have seen cases where people are working elsewhere, they got a piece of the pie in the debution, so they are not able to deliver value for money as I think, and we have to look at ways of tweaking this thing so that we can get value for money out of this. I do not want to basically bore you with that particular issue, but I think it's something that we have to address and to minimize the bickering and the confusion that I have seen. Everyone wants to be a supervisor. There is no Apache to clean the road and them things because people don't want them kind of job. There are people who refuse to take a weed eater or a rake to clean up the road at the end of the day. This is not the way we want this thing to go. So we would make some changes to that particular program.
Yes, Kiwi, we have a call.
So, hello.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
First of all, there was an earlier caller that spoke about we're not hearing the voice of the NMP again at all. And I think too, on Tuesday used to be the opposition time on GBN. And we seemed to, the government seems to not even, they don't have the cabinet program all the time again. And I think we need to see more of NMP getting in and the other radio stations like GBN and whatnot. While you all are doing a very good job, they must congratulate that station for the job it's doing. But I think it is true that we need to hear the NMP voice when some of these statements are made to be counteracting. And we're not hearing enough of the NMP. Secondly, this thing that the gentleman just said, you will hardly see any estate worker or road worker walking from 8 to 4 again. Remember in the early days of estate, you used to walk up even after 4 in the field. And when we had the minimum wage pay, they were given, I think it's 5 or 6 hours to work. So you ain't going to see no estate worker working 8 to 4 again. Once they come with that, you're going to have a breakdown. The problem what we see now is that supervision is the problem. They're not supervising the work that's supposed to be done. If you, long ago, you're giving a worker in an estate would have had to dig 50 banana holes, 18 inches wide by 18 inches depth for a day work. Now today, you don't have to plant a banana that hole. And the bananas that you get in the tissue culture come in smaller plastic bags. So you don't have to do that. So a lot of the system would have is changed, and they won't go back to that. So people like Mr. Cornwallis or the gentleman that said about tweaking to 8 to 4, we won't see that happening easy. That is out of it. But what you need is the supervision. Yes, this stuff remain on the side of the road, and that has been happening in NMP days too. The stuff remain on the side of the road too long after, and they tell you they have problem with choke and this and whatnot. You need more management and supervision, and that's the way the problem is. But to think of bringing back road workers and agricultural workers to 8 to 4 would be a no-no. So I think the people have to start thinking differently. And that is going to give the impression that you don't like or you have something against the field workers. Yes, they need to be supervised properly, and I think that is where the problem is, not properly supervised. But to try to change it from 8 to 4 or give them more longer time in the field, that is not it. Because a lot of the work in field and in road now is what you call peacetime work. They measure for you and they tell you where you have to reach. So if you measure and you work out the amount of persons that's supposed to be on the road, and they reach where you tell them, then once it is done properly, you should be getting value for money. I rest with this.
Clifford.
Yeah.
Now, the argument put forward by the minister is the parallel he draw that public workers working 8 to 4. You listening?
Yeah, listening.
But public workers entitled to pension and gratuity.
Well, it will be difficult to class a public worker with a road worker or agricultural worker. If a minister think of doing that, that minister seems to be not honest. The conditions of a man working in an office, sitting at a desk, and the condition of a man working in the field is two complete different.
That is not a parallel argument.
Right? It's two complete different. So that any minister thinking of that, he doesn't want to solve.
And then you bring up a very interesting point there, and I like that. Now, a man has to do 50 holes, you say he used to be.
Yes.
But then he had some men who used to do it before some.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So those who are finished first, so they have to sit there and wait until the rest done to go?
No. Man used to help man. Sometimes
that what I tell you, so value for money has nothing to do with time.
No, sometimes a man finish digging holes and he leave and he take his fucking sleep and he got to go.
Because if value for money was about time, the bushing, which is how much you give KB? 432.
Yeah, 432.
So when 432 or 432, so a month is 864.
Yeah.
But these ministers and within 4 months they receive $2,000 increase. So if it was about time, they can stop working. If value for money was our time, Clifford, and you say for a man to get 864 a month, you have to work from 8 to 4. But $2,000 is nearly 3 times that.
Yeah.
So that means that man might receive that $2,000 increase. They can't stop working.
And
if you're using time as value for money, and then you're making excuse out you don't have office, but when to campaign, you didn't telling people I don't have office. You saying supporting?
The union negotiate for the road for the civil servants for every 3 years, and in most time they get an increase of pay. The road worker don't get that kind of increase every time.
Yes.
We just talking about minimum wage, and the road worker will fall, and the agriculture worker will fall under what you call the minimum wage.
Because
so there's no comparison.
Because before you address the issue of value for money in relation to the debushing, you must address the minimum wage.
Yeah.
If after you address minimum wage, then you say, okay, the minimum wage is that, and that is expected to be done for the minimum wage. But you don't address the minimum wage. You just say in time. Would making a man work 8 to 4 make him work more? You must get in more work.
It's almost impossible to bring back a man to work from 8 to 4 now. There is work in the field that you may have to do go more than 8, more than 4, but there will be conditions for it over time and whatnot for that.
My thing about it is, Clifford, what is confusing is these people in 2008, they put the same assault on the debushing thing. They reduce the gang, they reduce the pay, and they increase the time. So to me, these people, and Clifford, these people in Parliament talk about poor. So they know about eating dumpling and butter and rice and butter, but now they're behaving like they don't know. Like all of a sudden they playing dummy don't know. Because you're working enough. You go in 5 o'clock and finish 8 o'clock. But the question is the amount of work you're giving me to do, have I not been coming up with the goods?
And we're saying that people don't want to be workers again. They just want everybody want to be a driver. That's not quite true.
No,
There
no,
are a
no.
lot of people are glad for the work on the road to go, and when they finish.
No, Clifford, you know why he's saying that? Because they promised the people to give them only supervisors and so on. So the people are vexed, they don't get in and on. The people, they make personal promises too. No, what vexed, they don't get in supervisors and things. So he know. When he talk, he know what he's saying. He know because the people are going to complain to him. Those he make promises to and they don't get in supervisors, they're going to complain to him.
So he's saying everybody.
So don't feel he don't know what he's saying. He know the personal promises they make to people who work, they go take and give them. Them people don't find it's long. It's taking too long for them to get it, so they go into them. So they complain and say the office don't furniture. They know.
Politicians must be careful.
Gimmicks.
We must be very careful. And all politicians must be careful.
All politicians must be careful, but Clifford.
Be careful with the statements that they make.
But Clifford.
The promises that they make.
Clifford, during the election campaign, I was on this radio station saying these things and I'm like the pension. And I spent a lot of time talking about the pension on this radio station. In terms of making people permanent, I spoke about that. And we call it pie in the sky and people vex.
Yes, you did.
So is that?
I learned a lot from the pension from me.
So before they attack me personally, check the facts. Because when you speak and say the 1958 pension will affect all workers in Grenada, you give the impression that all workers entitled, not telling them you have to be appointed to a pensionable position. Yeah. And that is the crux of the matter. So those, they will make them supervisors and things on the road. They want it now. So when they go and they don't give in them, they don't want what they're giving them. He knows. He knows. So you can't talk about value for money with time. Value for money is what is done for the money you're paying. The amount that is done, not time.
Exactly.
More, even now, Clifford, people building a house in Jordan. Not they work again.
I'm aware of that.
They telling a man how much it will take to block up my place for me.
Not only that,
and the man say, I'll take that. And the man come and just beat it out for you.
They do it, the same carpenter today working from 8 to 2.
So you will tell a man no.
So that's what I'm telling you, that if this thing will never come back, what is talking about? Once you start talking about
by them men and them plan,
you're making life hard for people.
But Clifford, the hatred for poor people, this government have, because they always believe the majority of the poor people just vote for NNP. That is the crux of the matter. You have nothing to do with common sense. Me and you might try to make common sense out of it, but them people and them know. Let me tell you, Clifford, victimization is singling out people or persons for cruel and unjust treatment. And that is exactly what's happening. To put them 8 to 4 is cruel and unjust.
Let me end by saying that I have said it already and I will say it until I die. It doesn't matter me which party, in power, which party. A wrong is a wrong at the right time when it's wrong. And I don't care whether it's NMP or NDC, when you're wrong, you're wrong. That is me. If NMP does something that is wrong, they're wrong. If NDC does something that is wrong, they're wrong. Wrong is wrong with me. It doesn't matter me which party.
All right, Cliffy.
Cool.
Yes, the number to call, 442-0175. Call and ventilate.
The people and then find your voice low to the KB.
Call and ventilate.
I don't find you punching. Like how Mr. Pedro say, you're punching today. What do you? You're good?
Yeah, I cannot take it with the cold too.
Yeah, okay. So I know something bothering you.
Yeah.
We have our next call again.
Yeah, let's go.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Master Carl, KB, the Igwe.
Yes, sir.
Coming mighty Floto.
Floto. Mighty Floto. And good afternoon to all your callers, wherever you are, the viewers, and everything like that. A very interesting thing that was said here. Master Carl, you just made mention of it. And I've witnessed it myself with this organization, the National Democratic Congress. On 2 occasions, they got into office. And the very first target was the poor people. The very first target, no matter in which section of government, right, that they touch or they dismiss, the persons that were affected was the poor and vulnerable, persons that are making less than $1,000, less than $1,500 a month. These are the persons that are being targeted. And I'm asking myself, why? Every time. I mean, I'm taking off my political hat, and I want other persons out there, right, to think about it. Why would you want to ill-treat the most vulnerable of your population? I mean, I cannot understand, right? There is no sense in doing it, no reason in doing it. Look at what's going on around the world right now. Every single government that you pay attention to is trying to find some way to ease the burden, to make it easier for its citizens, especially the persons who cannot afford everything. Government cannot give them a work, right? They themselves cannot get a permanent work, so they are temporarily employed. Governments around the world are ensuring that persons like that are being paid attention to. But what we do, we continue to cut the program. We continue to let go families from houses. We continue to let the Imani persons and so, I mean, go the distance when you know they won't have money, so they will drop out. I mean, these are the things that you do to frustrate poor people. And then at the end of it all, you take $2,000 and give to your ministers and say that it's our traveling expense, and so $2,000 you give to each one of them, but you take away from the most vulnerable people everything that they have. That does not make any sense. But again, when you understand the type of politics and the politicians you're doing, anything will never change. The faces of the persons will change, but the policy, that sort of GNP, anti-working class sort of thing, looking at to take it out on the persons who do not support you, these things will never be erased from that organization. Have a good evening, gentlemen.
All right, later.
Children are the overseers on the estate. It's the NDC. Number to call 442-0175.
KB, I need to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Independent talk. To the Honorable Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of National Security. I want to know what has happened to the Commissioner of Police.
This one is an embarrassing one,
Because it is alleged that he was carrying out, it is alleged
inspection,
that he was carrying inspection, he was summoned. And persons junior to him in rank advised him to proceed on leave. It is alleged. So we want to know, because you say you go give information on a need to know basis. And that is a need to know.
This one is embarrassing.
Because the thing about it is, one of the legacies of this present Commissioner KB is the new way in which promotion would be done. And the promotion don't happen yet, so is he not been getting the opportunity to make the promotion? Because he bring this policy where he had written exam, practical and all kind of things. So you're waiting for the man to kind of think the legacy, I don't know. School children say. And while we are the police still waiting, Mr. PM, because they say
pay and grade.
You make the promise to the teachers and you give them the money.
Yes.
You pay them. Even when it is illegal so to do, you still pay. They waiting for the pay and grade 1995, Mr. Prime Minister. The police, they tell me to ask you that. You have a caller line?
Yeah, we do.
Let's entertain that caller.
Hello.
Mr. Carlos, you know, easy, Mr. Martin, He's the commissioner still, ain't it?
I don't know. School children saying is Mr. Mackenzie like what they know, and so on. So
I don't see.
they say he has some inspection going on, and he get a call and he had to abort the inspection and go and take his instrument to go.
Well, I don't hear nothing. I don't see Mr. Martin. I mean, that man was doing a great job. Yes. Well, school children say, I don't hear it's alleged that they sell the park in Granans.
Oh, come on, Park. Well,
what I'm saying is, Mr.
I'm hearing Jude Bonner and Ray Roberts.
What I'm saying, I don't hear Ray Roberts. I hear Mr. Robinson. I hear Mark Isaac. None of them.
Like they ain't working for Ching Long Cree again, man.
Because I can remember under the NNP time, they did on the radio, they did on our television talking, and school children say, that some school children saying they lease it, some saying they sell. So I'm calling on Ray Robert, I know you're listening, sir. And
Jude Bonner.
I know you're listening.
And Jude Bonner.
I know Jude Bonner, he was the number one man. I know you're listening, or you listen to this radio station. Come and tell us something. Come and tell us something. Because all yesterday I hear in school children talking. So I don't know where they get that from. We want to know. We want to know if they sell it, because they were saying that is for the people. They need it for the people when they go on the beach. And if you release it now, or you sell it, let the Grenadian people know what is going on. Let the Grenadian people know when they go on the beach, they could go and bathe in the place and rinse the skin from the sea water. Let us know. Yeah. Because I hear it talking. I hear a lot of school friends speaking about that. And it's sad to hear that about Mr. Martin, because that man was doing a good job. And if you have to pay the police, you have to pay the police because the police are protecting you, The police are protecting you, so you should give them the money first. Yeah, give them the money first. And the next thing before I go, yesterday a woman tell me, KB, I don't hear you say nothing about that. All the investigation you're doing, that you have some NNP people in Sotez, tell the people during the election, don't vote for, how you call the red man, I said dance again?
Bello.
Don't vote for Bello. What I'm saying is, if you're that true NNPI, why are you telling people don't vote for Bello? That is why you see we losing election. A lot of hypocrites. A lot of hypocrites. There was on the table strike. And Peter deceived Wabagad. You understand? A woman tell me that from Sotez. She tell me, the man tell him, don't vote. A man, I don't call his name. Tell him, don't vote for Bello. You understand? Are you get old too? I don't know what will happen. And people suffering in Grenada. And the people and them just shame to talk. People is suffering. You understand? It's so sad. And I thank God for my 5 children. That was always say on the radio, you can't do me nothing. I have 5 children. They will come and give me a bird. I'm listening.
Take care.
Yeah.
Okay, that issue about the command park. Because we heard a lot of talk. All the talk about was heritage and patrimony about command park. But we hear this thing from school children now, and I ain't hear Jude Bonner and Ray was saying not a drum beating. We want to know. We want to know, kid.
This one is a strange one because it was one of the NDC trump card against NNP and Dr. Mitchell. Always saying, hey, Dr. Mitchell always want to give away or sell our patrimony. He want to sell our passport. He want to give away the command park. Today, again, you have to refer to the book Animal Farm. All what you criticize Dr. Mitchell for doing, and what you attack him on. Not 1 year in poet,
4 months.
4 months. And you're doing more and worse. this command pack thing, it will shock me, shock everybody. Because it was so protective by Ray Roberts and Jude Bonner and them.
Yeah.
Even when we haven't celebrated our independence, the NDC will see it fit to go and hold a celebration in the command pack.
So they go remove the food court when independence come next time.
I don't know what they'll do. It's people that the behavior will always tax the power of belief. And as you say, you will be, most time you will be perplexed, puzzled by their behavior, their action. Things they oppose, they see right to do now.
Yeah, Kibi, like I was saying, people from inside, it is alleged that people from inside this present government is looking forward and rubbing their hand in glee for the 21st of November to reach, when the tenure of the Beryl Isaac-led public service commissions come to an end. Because they start to knife people and Beryl and them say, nah, that can't happen.
Okay.
Because it is alleged
Yeah.
that the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, say, I can see a government looking for certain things, asking for certain things to be done, and the kind of response. And so, if there's a genuine problem, we just send back and tell us what the problem is, let us fix it. So you see like Beryl standing in the way. So when they get Beryl off from the 21st of November, Kiwi, look out. You know.
They will be putting their own people.
They're running at all tough our pay and them.
Yes. Yes.
We have a call. Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
We're hearing you loud and clear.
Yes, we're hearing you. That person, what they call on WhatsApp?
No, they call it straight to.
What is song so break up?
Signal, wherever it is.
Like a signal weak, sir.
All right. The person that just called, go outside or something and make the call and give us a call back. The signal is really bad on your side.
Where you are the signal weak?
Mm-hmm.
The number to call for 201-75. You call and ventilate. Let's say your views. Yes, Mr. Carl. Every move this government make, convincing us they are one-term government. Every move. This 8 to 4 work will haunt them. The poor people of this country will never forgive them. When I talk about poor, I mean NDC supporters and NP supporters. It's not something that resonating well.
Nah.
I tell you, in every corner, people are suing 8 to 4. What's wrong with these NDC people? They want to bring back slavery? Their supporters.
Somebody asked if it is true that the people that clean the toilets facilities in the market got letters to go home.
I don't know who got letters. Is the mother, the general cleaner, who will clean all upstairs, downstairs, clean the market. Mother, she got letter to go home.
She got letters to go home.
But I don't think the toilet cleaners got letters as yet.
What they go get?
There's a possibility because the NDC is saying that they have to drain the swamp.
Okay, we have a call again.
Yeah, take the care.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Maybe when the Honorable Dennis Canvas speak about value for money,
There is a group of people, a group of workers in the country. 10 days they did not work. Right? They didn't produce, did not work, but they get money. Right? Then you have ministers, some ministers came in after the election. First month, the first salary they received the first month, they complain that money enough. No value for money. Right? The workers on the bushing workers, they working, they do not, yes, in everything there's room for improvement. Was when you look go through the country, when you look at this, some of the work that the bush workers were doing, they do a wonderful job, a wonderful job. I could have said, okay, yes, you could look at the weakness of the program and try to strengthen it. But when you put in extra hours, but you never hear anything about more money. So the one workers work for the same money and more time on the road. This is weakness in the to the highest marks. That bring back people back to slavery, back to slavery. And who will go to take it for? Right? Who want to take it? To who want to hire? Want to hire NMP workers to do that work on the road? Their punishment they get because they wear a green shirt. And even some of the people who wear green shirt, they end up vote for NDC. Right? You vote for them because when you put a man who wear a jersey, and KB and Massacre, when they decide it, you don't know what they do.
You don't know who you vote for.
You don't know who they vote for. Right? So
Well, that happened in the last election based on crowds.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because see, a lot of people go for the problem. A lot of people can say, why if I walk in and not permanent and there's something I want to do, I can't do that. If I get permanent, I'm going to do it. A lot of people want to vote for the permanent. A lot of people want to vote for the pension, not understanding what really the pension, who get the pension, who don't get it. Because what up when they change pension thing, like if all workers who work, we go maybe work 5 years, 12 years, 8 years in government, they think they have to get they have pension to get. Right? So they didn't really come and see them and explain everything. They just show something there, and the workers fall for that. But when they go in now to sign up for the pension, they telling them they don't qualify for the pension. Right? And what is so wicked about it? People see them and they plan. You know, like the COVID, they say COVID coming from a lie, from a lab, just to this is sit down, and they come out with some lies from the lab to fool the people going to carry compete in that. Same 2008, the same thing in 2022. Children, father, everybody same occupants.
Okay.
The caller raised a serious issue there in KB. When we talk about value for money, we always have to know what yardstick is used. Now, after 100 days, the government boasts that one of the wins was paying $1.2 million to 1,721 affected teachers. So this $1.2 million in dock salary, Mr. Dennis Cornwall, was that value for money? So
That's one is so important.
ask Dennis for me. When you boast that one of the top wins you have in your first 100 days was paying 1.2 million
to people who did not
to
work.
1,721 affected public workers, was that value for money, Mr. Cornwall?
They did not work.
Or was that just political gimmicks? That is okay. That is why I say this program today is dedicated to those confused. Because these things are confusing us, KB.
Yeah.
I have a nice comment here for you, Carl.
Let me hear it.
People, it's from a police officer. People said the new government was going to make better changes. I hope they would, because the island needed a change. However, when people losing their jobs, cleaning toilets, among others, because they are not your supporters, that is victimization.
But how you know it's not your supporters? You're not the ancient of days. Even Lucifer KB knows not the mind of man. But KB, how when Mr. Cornwall talk about value for money, I need him to explain this for me. The 1.2 million you paid to 1,721 as you claim affected was that value for money? Because 10 days they don't work, they don't go to work. But the faith-based people, KB, who work, you don't want to pay them. So that is confusing. These are the things that is confusing the gradient public. Added to that, the debushing program, KB, and one has to put it in its proper perspective, is not just a work. It is or was or should be a safety net program, KB.
Of course.
So a safety net program is something distinct and different.
Yes, you're right.
And that safety net program went a long way into cultivating and maintaining social stability, KB. It simply means that a man don't have to, or a woman don't have to consider opening she business. Or a man don't have to consider doing illegal things to live.
Get something on the road.
So all what you bring into this thing and value for money and time and thing is anti-productive. If you don't know, because I know you don't know, because the social safety net program, watch, the structural adjustment program came in and the IMF indicated certain things. But Dr. Mitchell said, nah, we have to leave these people to have something to go by.
Social explosion, you crazy?
Because we cannot afford. And what they forgetting, KB, when you don't have social stability, they are breeding gun for crime.
What do you mean? Yeah.
And more work for the security people and more resources the government have to put into it. So the lesser of the evils is to continue the social safety net programming. It'll cost you more in the long run by taking it out if you feel you're saving it. So if Dennis Cornwall don't know, that's what is the crux of the debushing and other safety net programs. You have to understand, and then the thing about it, KB, they talking about, they come from poor parentage and they know about ponies. But Dr. Keith Mitchell is the only politician here that showing us he understands our poor people and poor people children. So these safety net programs are not for political gimmicks. He recognized, and to put it in your words, that he has a moral obligation.
You have to look after these people.
To look after these people and them. So you don't make no excuse.
No excuse.
You don't go in no sideways.
No apology for that. No apology for that.
So can we tell Danley Beggs and them for me? He don't give in away. He just recognize that social stability helps in every way. Because if you don't have social stability, it affects everybody. Because you can't leave your house and go, KB, if you don't have stability here.
No.
You can't leave your business and go. You can't leave your cattle and goat and sheep and in the bush. So that's what is the social safety net. So that's what is a social safety net program. It is not about work and this thing. It is and knowing that crime has a direct correlation, KB, with instability of a social nature, where, KB, a woman don't have to open up her business to survive. And a man don't have to feel by the only way I could make it is to do illegal things. So when you understand what is social safety net, you can come with these jackassing statements on them. That only expose you that you don't know about the social fabric of even your constituency. Because your constituency is one that depends a lot on the social safety net programs. And until and unless you, Mr. Dennis Cornwall, don't create something otherwise to create some form of employment, gainful employment, the social safety net has to be in place. You don't want to think No children and thing can flourish in social instability. Because school go be broken into. All kind of thing go happen. You don't want to have to deal with that, KB.
But Mr. Khan, what is the problem? Why is it they always against poor people? What is the problem? When big hotel getting millions of dollars in concession, nobody raising a finger. Businessmen getting millions in concession, nobody raising a finger. Civil servant getting concession, nobody raising a finger. You understand? Foreigners coming, they would get into business, they get in concession, nobody raising a finger. Anytime the poor man getting something, there is a special group of people in this country always against it. Something have to be wrong.
KB, this thing is something you have to understand deep. Now, the colonial people, they used to call us slaves. They used to call us slaves. So things get kind of modernized now, so realize now they don't call us slaves anymore, they call us criminals. So poor people always on the receiving end. And this present administration have a deep-seated thing for poor people and poor people children. They use them to get into power. The revolution they glorify, in which you was a part of, KB, they use poor people children to get into power. And KB, as all you give them power, you spend 42 months independent.
Yeah, make 42 months jail, what's that?
No, so that's how they treat the people.
Yeah.
That is something inherited. So when you hear they're trying to glorify Morris and others, you have to understand what here is at play. I need to speak on another issue, KB, because now you have a clip I want you to play, Igwe, where the Honorable Prime Minister talk about the stroke of a pen. I need to play that clip before I talk about it. When you could fix things with the stroke of a pen. Okay. So line up that clip for me, because you see, when I'm speaking, I don't want to just scatter shots, KB. I want the people to understand where I'm coming from and what I'm speaking about. So I want that clip because I need to speak in regards to the Imani, KB. And what is the new trust for the Imani?
Ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that any loans, if affordable, is made available to citizens of Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is not whether that's not the issue. The issue is you've placed a large group of Grenadian workers on contract.
Mm-hmm.
You've placed them in a position where they are unable to borrow through the normal financial institutions by putting them in a position where they do not have sustainable or sustained employment.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that you've made them vulnerable. You put jobs they are doing are permanent jobs, jobs that are normal customer requirements for the government.
Mm-hmm.
They should be indefinite employees or permanent employees. They should not be on contract work. And if they're not on contract work, they will be able to take part, like the rest of the persons who are on permanent jobs, in the normal banking and financial and the credit union systems in Grenada. Right. And that is how you create wealth.
Absolutely.
That is how you sustain and raise your standard of living. That is how you're able to save money. That is how you acquire a home or acquire a piece of land, or you're able to start a small business on the side. But when you put people on contract work, and when there is no need to do so, then you are putting them in a vulnerable position, and you are doing so deliberately. And so the question you have to ask is, why are you doing so?
Yep.
And in my view, you are doing so because you want to have the ability to fire them at will. So you want to create job insecurity because you want to be able to manipulate them for your own ulterior reasons.
Right.
Right. So let's make this clear. For those contract workers who are able to qualify for that GDB loan, I'm happy for them. but a significant number of them will not be able to qualify.
Right.
And the question is, when they don't qualify, what happens to them? They remain on contract work. So what has to be addressed is the fact that the government has to end this contract work, absorb the employees because they are doing jobs that are normal, customary, and required. Let's take, for example, a cook in a school. If you have a school feeding program, that job is required indefinitely. There is no reason to put a cook on a contract work.
Right.
And remember, when you put her on contract work, she has no pension. She has no chance of getting health insurance. She has no chance of buying life insurance because the incomes are very low.
Yep.
Right. And if you go to buy these things, they will say to you, well, we have no guarantee that you will have a job 6 months from now or 12 months from now. And so no one wants to deal with you from a financial perspective when you're in that position.
Right.
And I'm saying the job of the citizens, of the government, is to fight for its citizens, to protect its citizens, to encourage its citizens to be independent, not dependent, not vulnerable. So that is the challenge we face. And I'm saying it is solvable by the stroke of a pen.
Yep.
And let me make this further point. It is actually illegal. The Employment Act clearly says that you cannot put someone on a fixed term contract, meaning these short term contracts, when the position they are filling is an indefinite one. So the government itself is breaking the law. The government itself is being lawless. So I'm saying in those circumstances, they should in fact end the contract work, regularize the status of the employees, and any other incentives that should be offered to them to make up for the period that they've been on contract jobs, in fact, should be given to them.
As the Independent Talk Sundays, we have a call. Hello.
Hey, afternoon.
Afternoon.
Hey, afternoon, Mr. Carl. And KB.
Good afternoon.
Hey, afternoon. KB, it upsets me every time I hear people being prosecuted or sent home because of who they vote for or because of their color. Something that we really don't push in is that the people who do so really don't understand that they are destroying the Constitution of the country and they're wiping their foot on the Constitution. It's the Constitution that gives people the right to vote for who they want to choose. The Constitution that gives us this right to have different parties and organizations. And if we go as far to prosecute people, to make people suffer because of who they vote for and which one they choose, somebody outlead demons on us. This regime is not acknowledging the love of the Constitution, the spirit of the Constitution. That's what they do as a revolution. Suspend the Constitution. So then we go know what we're dealing with. But within the Constitution, you're dealing with that, you're using that kind of tactics. And using all kind of pretty words to try to fool people. It is straight up. They are violating our Constitution. And they are becoming vulgar in what they're doing. This thing has to stop. And politicians really have to know that tactics that they use and people, and remember, also people, children, that feels it. Always the poor class that feels it. And they have to understand that what they're doing, they are violating our Constitution, the one they say they so love and they vow and they take oath on, they are violating it when they do that. And they feel good and they are dividing the country so bad that they go to send us apart, where we're going to end up with this division, people fighting against people. They're going to send us like Haiti because they're taking the color. The colors that we have means nothing. This is what the Constitution tells us to do. You could vote for Tom or you could vote for Harry. And when people do so, they must feel free in their country. They must feel secure that their job that they're doing is okay. You who win shouldn't just come in and say, you don't deserve to be there because you didn't vote for me. You didn't create that job for the person. Neither the money that you're paying them is not your money. It's taxpayers' money. It's the state money. And it's time for us and the union how to get serious in this matter. And what this government doing here? Well, the Prime Minister himself called the government a lawless government because he said when you put people on contract, that is lawlessness. So this is lawlessness again, where he's taking people and putting on contract. And something I want to let people know: not all the people who's appointed is qualified to get a loan in the bank. Their chances are greater. But a lot of people believe because you get an appointment and you're appointed worker, you can go in the bank and just put off a loan. There are more things to that. Not everybody is appointed so you can go to the bank and get. So getting a loan sometimes is very tough. But a lot of people who is on contract, they still would prefer work on the contract than they don't have a job. And old people will say half a loaf is better than nothing because of the situation. And the politicians know why people is on contract. They know why. They know what the IMF had said to Grenada. They know Grenada was coming from a structural adjustment. And they know one of the most brilliant politicians that passed in the Caribbean is Keith Mitchell. And the skill he used to keep people employed. The man should be applauded for that instead of being condemned. And today, they come in and enforce the same thing, putting people back on contract. Oh my God. Thank you, Keith.
All right. Have a nice one here for you again, Carl.
Yeah.
The check was written to pay CJs to pay the workers at the constituency office in July 2022. Up to today, not a single worker got a blank cent. The NDC recalled that payment. You know about that?
Well, based on information, some discussion was held with the parliamentary office and CJs as in terms of payment and so on. And I don't think that has happened. KB, I need to say something here, KB.
Go ahead.
You've been part of the revolution. You recognize the similarities between the NDC now and the revolution? Now in the revolution, anybody who didn't agree, call them counter.
Yeah.
Now, anytime you don't agree, they say you're against transformation.
Yeah. Demonize you.
Yeah. Mutatus mutant, this one. They can now hold you and put you in jail just so.
No, they demonize
If they could have done it, they're doing it.
You're doing it now. Yeah.
Because if they could have done it, I saw they in jail already.
Long?
Yeah.
But because you have to listen the language when they speak a KB. Because I tell people you have to listen the language. Because when the age he spoke, she said some people were fired because they was against the transformational agenda.
Ananju says that
nothing to do with value for money and so on.
Yeah, Ananju says that we're giving the NDC too much advice.
No, but not about giving the NDC. We have to enlighten our people so they could make informed decisions going forward. Because in constitutionally in 1500 days, a very, very important decision ought to be made. It could come before that. And persons have to understand what it takes.
Masaka, you agree how small these people think? You put in toilet cleaners under the microscope.
Now the intent is to pressure.
What threat a toilet cleaner could be to the NDC?
None. We have a call online?
Yeah.
Let's take the call.
Hello? Hello. They hang up just as I take the call.
Call back.
Yeah.
Yakibi was saying?
Yes, what threat? Even mother. A lady we call mother who cleans the market, Of course, yes, she may feel she's an NNP, but why punish her?
Come on. Mm-hmm. Let's take the call, KB.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Afternoon.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Move away from the TV or the radio.
I'm hearing you now.
I'm hearing the feedback.
You're hearing me now?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Clear.
Well,
listen us on the phone. Don't listen yourself on the radio, TV. Listen the phone.
in my case, I have a serious problem. I, as one of the longest political activists in St. Patrick, expect the government to get rid of me. But they disrespect me. I have a contract in 2018. The contract states when it terminated, I had to be paid 1 month in lieu of notice. They write me a letter signed by the PS, signed by the Minister of Work, that I will be paid 1 month in notice. And after I just send and tell the public works, man, just give about 9 days and they take it and cool it. as none of us as part with the revolution government. Sorry, Bishop went before he become the revolutionary leader. I get notice with 1 month's pay. I work with the same NDC in 2008. When they send me home, they give me 1 month's pay. This government tells me now, take now, call it. This is this. Thank you.
I didn't hear him too clear.
They give him 1 month notice based on what he say, but after they write him, I can tell 9 days pay, and he had to go and take that. So that is Susu 9 days. So take Susu. Now, I'll play that clip, KB, to speak to or speak about the Imanis. Now, in St. Mark's, during one of the, what is it called, town hall meetings.
Yeah.
One of the persons stood up in that meeting and asked Mr. Deacon Mitchell, then Prime Minister Mitchell, now, what it really is to the Imanis. And with a straight face, he said, I will make all permanent. He didn't ask, he didn't think. Then the clip said by the stroke of a pen, it could be fixed because it was illegal. Now I'm hearing that they placed the Imani program under the national NT, national training, so on, where you'll obtain a CVQ and thing. My question is, you promise them permanent, you don't give them. You put them under this training thing. How long is the training for, KB? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 months, 2 months? The KB, the Imani program was created because when a lot of persons leave school, KB, because the government was not able to give jobs to them, they create the Imani program where they'll be training and at the same time getting a stipend so to do. Now, all that falls under, again, safety nets.
Yes.
You have to understand. Now, you come in government and you say the salary of ministers is woefully inadequate, and you use this choker dependent and you give them 2,000. But the Imanis you promise, you don't want to give them nothing. You promise the teachers, you use this choker dependent and you give them. You promise the police, but you don't use this choker dependent to give them. Now, the Imanis, KB, they went out in droves and put this administration into power because this administration only win by 2,500 votes, KB.
Yeah.
And the Imanis and them is a lot of thousand, eh? More than 2,500.
Yeah, plenty.
So now you say you put them under the NTA, they go get CVQs and others. So when the training done, what happens? Because the AG say can give people work.
No.
That the AG words. She say let's be straight.
It cannot be sustained.
She say let's be straight. We cannot bloat the public service. Let's take that one.
Hello? Hello?
The AG say let's be straight, KB. So what I don't know, this is the systematic means of purging the Imani.
Yes.
I have a nice one for you again, your KB.
Really?
The people are picking on you today.
Yeah.
Ask KB what he have to say his friend, the Prince of Heat, about going to Dr. Mitchell's mother celebration last week to see who they.
Let me tell you something, Gates. Let me tell you something, Gates. Let me do entertain that.
All right.
We do they here to entertain this jackassness.
No, but I think you keep it on.
No. We watch on the program here, me and KB, we don't talk about personalities, we deal with issues. And if somebody comes in where the issues is being discussed, they will be called out. But we don't come here to talk nonsense and jackassness, man.
We have our next call again.
We don't wasting time to come here and talk this jackassness here.
Yeah. Hello?
Good evening.
Afternoon.
We just sitting there only talking. I don't see what England do. Let we do the same thing too now. Are you afraid to do that too? England get up and they say, no, we don't want that. Any new resignation. So why Why we don't let them people send in the resignation after we let a lot of crime come in Grenada and that time we also send the resignation? We have to get up and get. They're telling you they giving work contract, they giving people work. I don't hear the raise up pay. When we was campaigning, I hear them people in the Oxford say they won back the $10, and up to now they don't get. Then I don't understand. And we only did we are with them people are not bad. I know nothing, so we have to act. Let me get up.
Right. Take it.
Yes, KB. So so according on the Prime Minister KB about the illegality of the contract workers, what is he doing about it? And when would he be ending the contract workers and making them permanent? Because for him it was easy so to do. Let me take the caller.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, boss. Gentlemen, I was just talking to somebody, and they're walking in Carman Park. They say what they noticed is a gentleman used to come in with some white people. They walk around Carman Park for the while. And what the person is a security attendant, right? I won't call the person. The person say what they noticed that they power wash Carman Park. And them was asking why they don't power wash the bathroom and tile inside Carman Park. And the same person now, why used to come there and talk with them. They stop come and talk to them. And they sit down in the corner and they sit down eat their lunch. So they want to know what's going on with Carman Park. Later.
Anyhow, we must come to light to
Yeah.
a small country.
You think about the truth. So KB, my whole thing about it is KB. What happens to the Imanis from here on?
I think they will streamline it and they will gradually phase it out because Mr. Dickens said his wage bill is too high. It is not sustainable. So the Imani will be under really, really pressure. They would not keep them before the end of the year. By next year, they will cut the size of the Imani. More than half will be home.
What? Half is a lot.
Yeah.
About 5,000 at the minute.
Yeah, because if based on what what's the call is information they pick up, that they will just train them and get rid of them. They won't keep them. After you get your training, you go. Those Imani that there for the last 2, 3, 4 years, you better look out.
We have a next call, KB.
Take the call.
Hello.
So KB, what they gonna do with these young people now?
They're sending them home.
They gonna send them home?
Yeah.
So that means they trick the people during the campaign. Because most of these people vote for them. Or that mean,
During the campaign was gimmicks.
they will just send them home. And I agree with the man that speaks earlier on because he last 2 callers.
Yeah.
Dr. Kit Mitchell is the best thing that happened for us in Grenada. Imagine. You know, that was a man that cared about the poor people. You know, I don't understand why no. You say by the stroke of a pen. What do you mean by that? By stroke of a pen?
Well, that why they signing the letters for persons to go home. That why the pen stroking on.
Okay.
And as Ms. Beryl Isaac moved from Public Service Commission on the 21st of November,
I read something about that.
the real massacre was starting.
Yes. I read that. And
So what happening now is just the beginning of things to come.
Yes. I will believe that. It's sad, It's sad, and they had warned us because they had a track record and they didn't listen in. I mean, no, the union people not speaking. They're not speaking out. They're not saying nothing. Everybody just keep quiet.
No, Mr. My good friend Brian Graham speaking, man. I see a note from Brian. Yeah, Brian, I want a note on the page here, Brian, though, please.
Well, he must come on GBN.
Not GBN, he must come on Real FM. What GBN was?
GBN really not.
They must hear because them are a bunch of hypocrites.
So Brian, come on Real FM.
Come on Real FM and speak because a lot of people listening to Real FM.
Open your mouth and speak.
Yes. Grenadians going through a rough time. Even the pastors, all the pastors in the churches, come on, speak as people suffer. Look at the people in England. Look at them. They don't want the woman there. She just resigned. She just resigned. And Grenadians just there and rejoicing. This was hurting me as a grandmother with 10 grandchildren. People rejoicing when they send home people.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And what it may have, some of these people inside there, they're not telling themselves, you know, you're hurting your own people, your own flesh and blood. Because they don't know all who vote for them. And a lot of NDC supporters, they send them home. You can't do that to people. You're going to need the same people tomorrow. It is so sad. When you look around, some of us that is sitting in the houses now, we see Dr. Mitchell did a lot. That man helped a lot of people, children to go to school. He didn't take taxpayers' money. He won money from his own pocket. And they don't have the courtesy to say, thank you, sir. You know, thank you for what you have done for Grenada. And you have some, and they're listening me now, in America and other countries that say they do not know when they come in Grenada. Master Carl, they don't know where they're walking. It's strange. Grenada gets strange for them. Under Keith Mitchell leadership, under Keith Mitchell leadership, you know, you don't work, you get paid, but you won't pay the police. And then the man saying you want value for your money. So who is bullying? Even as ministers, MPs inside the ministry now, who are doing the work for them? The civil servants that is there, like the permanent secretary and other workers are doing all the work for them. Does that say 8 to 4? Some of them don't even come in for the day, but they get their work done. And you're talking about value for your money. So you don't see this guy's wickedness. Papa God will strike all you. Papa God don't like them things. God do not like dirty work. Because God is real. And I believe in him. You know, you don't do this to people. You come and you get everything done. And you're taking credit for it. You are just at work. Not even a year, you know. Not even a year. You don't give the Grenadian people 1 year, you send home everybody. And that Keith Mitchell leadership, I'm not saying that they didn't move some people, but not so. They didn't take 3 months and send home 100 people. Or do they rejoicing? One man saying send home KB. And you're right, you know, Mr. Carl. If they had the power to jail me, they'd jail me and you and KB with the rich man here. They'd have put us up there. They'd have want to shut us up. Trust me. But I'll be speaking. That is my democratic right to speak when things go wrong. Because I'm a mother and a grandmother in this country. And I see people suffering. I see people suffering in this country. It's to sit in the terminal or stay by the roadside in the town of St. George and everybody, big people that have their family begging you for $1 to buy corn and sugar. It's not right. Leave the people let them work. Leave them, let them work. Give them the little work. Let us say to make $1 to buy bread for the children, to send the children to school. You have to love people before you love yourself. You have to love nobody. Or you come and get rid of Mr. Army. I have 5 children, and they must take care of me. And I'm doing the right thing. I am doing the right thing. So I don't worry about what they could do to me. I don't bother about that. The terminal is not mine. The good day is not mine. I have a home. So I don't worry about what you're saying, get rid of her. I don't get rid of me just so. God is good. God is good, and give thanks for Dr. Keith Mitchell when he was in leadership what he did for the country. That's the best thing that happened for us. And the man arrest me, please. Leave him at the rest. Nobody call on him now.
I
But
agree.
somebody
Let you
has
rest
to call
yourself.
him.
I agree.
I have to call him. Have a good evening.
All right.
KB, you have something I want your take on. No. We gave the information here because one of the evenings I was in Sotesia and I heard two little school children, what seems from Anglican school, having a discussion, and one was saying by hearing mother say on the weekends they go close the complex. So if you have an emergency, you either have to go out or Maryborough once you're from these parts. And I say maybe that old talk. But then I always remembered KB. My grandmother says school children doesn't lie. When they see things they already hear home.
You mean the complex in Sotes?
Yeah, the complex in Sotes. Medical complex. But today, KB, somebody who attended the complex today reliably informed that one of the nurses, they say, watch, from the 1st of November, we will close on a weekend.
Oh, gee.
Senator Jonathan Lacrette, is transformation moving things backward?
Oh, gee.
Because Mr. Joseph Andal stood up by a building in Snell Hall and said, oh, we go ting it up. Because people, and they don't have to go in Sotes, in Hermitage again. But you're closing down Sotes on a weekend. Why do you take on that, KB? You need to speak on. You find that makes sense?
Again, I don't know if they want to save money, but what's about lives? On a weekend, we always have problem with transport. Somebody gets sick, get injured, the medical station is right there. So it is important that keep it open. I don't understand why they will be closing it down from next month on a weekend. I tell you, the NDC doing some funny things that will, puzzle you. That's why you always say you're genuinely perplexed. This thing is puzzling other people. You always complain and attack the NNP on the health issue. We have a call. Go ahead.
Hello, caller.
Yes, good afternoon again. Two quick things. The government that just come in say that marketing board is in serious problems and it's losing, hemorrhaging, hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. However, though, they still found it fit to appoint a new CEO, right, in Peter Andal. I mean, I'm confused, right? I also want to ask the question, Randolph Robinson, I know you're listening. Could you please tell us the new position you hold? Who owns that entity? You all been asking the questions so many times while the NNP was in government. Now you have an opportunity to tell the people what is. Have a good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah. All right.
Caller, salient points. First, the Andal guy, marketing board and Andal supermarket, they are competitors.
Okay.
So you have the man in Andal, CEO of marketing board, competitors. But anyway, the Prime Minister say conflict of interest and corruption is something he could handle. But to the ordinary people, stop confusing the people, KB. You say go fix marketing board. You say all kind of thing about marketing board.
Big business again, somebody said.
Or maybe you want to sell it for the same man or again the CEO. But you appoint the CEO who has business, who does similar set of business to marketing, KB. There are conflict of interest. KB, this thing is confusing.
You perplexed.
So when I indicated earlier at the beginning of the program about stop confusing the people, those are the issues. Well, he called on Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson for years beat up on Roland Bowler.
See, you want to know who the post of
And saying he's an executive member of the NNP, he shouldn't have that work. Mr. Robinson had the same work now and he's an executive member of NDC. Added to that, Mr. Robinson, who owned the place? Because he used to give you version of the owners before. Now that he's the head honcho. Now that he's the chief Avekoe.
Who own it?
Who own it? Tell the people. Tell the people who own the place. We use the chief head. We use the Indian. You know, we use the chief. Tell the people who own it. Let's say the call.
Hello?
Yes, sir. That's why I said to you just now that the NMP must be speaking out more as a party. We're not hearing enough from the NMP executive. We can go and say it if we don't have authority, but they have authority. They can ask it in the parliament. They can send a letter. They can use other forces. They have the radio station there. They have this radio station you have there. For the time you all never call a minister come. I want to tell you it's ex-personnel from the MP. They have to talk out too.
Anytime is
If
right.
either want us to be foot soldiers for them, they have to lead the way. And all must be free to say that to them. They have to speak out. They don't wait until they have a press conference when things like that come up. You can allow the public on it. So when you allow the public on it, then you give us put to chew on, but you can allow us. How we going to chew? You can't say things that will get you in trouble, but they are in the parliament and they have a right to find out from the minister certain things that me and you may not be able to ask. We have representatives there and they have a right to speak out. How say you for that, Mr. KB?
No, I will answer that question in that particular, Clifford. One, the Westminster style of governance. When administration changes, usually the opposition gives the government a little time to settle.
Yeah, you have to give them time.
Now, in the context of Grenada, because of 1515, we didn't have a parliamentary opposition. So it was not attested then. I agree with you, on the other hand, that issues of national importance ought to be dealt with. But I think timing,
right timing,
is about it.
Not
And what I could say that the opposition is taking notes. And the same questions we have will be asked in the right time and in the right place. So when they start to do the people business in the house, they'll have to be accountable. Because what you find happening, KB, they claim victory and 100 days was so important. And they win. But KB, you know, when you had the sitting of parliament, not one minister spoke nothing about his ministry. You know, he just has something called ministerial statement. After you saying some other people giving you 100% for governing the country, KB. And all the country asks for is good government. You no minister within the lower upper house had anything or any statement, ministerial statement to make to the nation, KB. But you're saying you had victory in 100 days? These things, KB, is confusing. So when I speak of things confusing, these are the things. My thing is not all green and yellow, it's just facts. It's facts. You win, you claim victory 100 days. They give you 10 out of 10. But you in the house, these are the people business. Not one minister attempted to make a ministerial thing. Laco! You didn't in the hospital at 2 o'clock in the night. You couldn't even talk about it. They closing down the place in Sortes on weekend, Laco.
Fix it.
You don't say nothing.
What I said, how St. Patrick's people will react because they got 2 representatives, in Parliament.
They go find out.
They got Mr. Andal and you got Mr. Cornwall.
They go find out.
And KB.
And they are big posts. One is foreign minister, one is deputy.
KB. And what behooves me was listening to the town hall meeting. A man asked how the breakwater, because they beat up on them before the breakwater.
Yeah.
Mr. Joseph Andal is taking out Peter down, going down by 4 only, like every day when he see thing in. So when they asked Joseph and them about it, based on what Joseph is saying, only in the next 2 years they may address it. In the next 2 years they may address it, boy. Them fellas and them confusing people.
2 years,
Them fellas and them confusing people, KB. My advice to these fellas and them, stop talk. Don't say nothing. Because what I was saying, don't give it no forward and nothing to the whole thing, KB. Because you condemn NNP for the breakwater. You say all kind of thing. Every day you go and take out photograph. Now you're in power, they ask you about it. You say NNPD too fast. And we know all kind of fundings and drawing and plans and things for the place, as Mr. Cox eloquently discussed to the media. But now you don't have much to offer. All you offer is shenanigans and jackassness to the people. St. Patrick's, are we getting good government? St. Patrick's,
while you saying
the representative, are they giving us value for money, Kiwi?
while you saying
Kiwi, and to hear you.
You close it down. Medical station now.
this morning, last week, Saturday, a man food get chopped, and he get to find out that the complex is closing for real. Boys, thank God the complex was open on the weekend because it was Saturday.
Yes, but
and you're closing it on the weekend now.
Yeah, from the first. That's
So
the
I
last
don't
thing
know.
I expect the NDC to do.
I don't know.
To close the medical facilities in Sotez, St.
know.
Patrick's on the weekend.
I don't know, man.
Because they always beat up on the NNP for the health situation in this country.
So let you listen independent talk again, Kiwi, and then spend the whole week beating up on me anyway again.
Topic of discussion.
Yeah.
Independent talk. With
They
Carl
can't
and
sleep.
KB. Yeah.
They can't sleep at night.
I know, man.
They just worry and fret.
I know. They want
Because poor people, children, they disrespect. What we're doing here is not no warning, is not no threatening. We're just giving facts.
That's all it is.
We're just informing the people. So the next time they have to make a big decision, they're well informed. We don't take anything for granted, me and Key. We're giving them the facts.
Yeah, a few people are willing to air the views, especially those people who get letters.
Okay.
You know, they
That's
kicked
nice.
off their job. So we'll be going to interview these people.
Yes.
So you'll be hearing their voice. You'll hear their cry.
Live.
You'll hear it live.
Yeah.
All the people the NDC victimized and sent home. The toilet cleaners.
The cook.
The cook. Some.
You have a call?
The cleaners in there.
Let's take the call.
Yeah, we have a call. Hello.
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 Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Master Carl?
Easy.
And Brother Kibi.
Good, good.
I always have tried to listen to the program, boy. I finally reach all of this afternoon.
Okay.
All of a very good program. But you don't know, expect that to happen to part of the victimized? You expect that in the procedure because you know that they custom doing. You remember when Tony and them had working on the election, the victimized them, they send them and they have to call them back because they could do the job. That is the motive all the time. All NDC time. That's what they're custom doing people, so that don't surprise me of them. I'm only sorry for the Imanis and them what will be going home. And they will have nothing to do.
Yeah.
But that is what is based on doing people. They don't have no love for the people, and you know that. So that shouldn't surprise you, KB, from all your experience in politics. Master Carwell just come in, but that shouldn't surprise you too. You know Cornwall go do that in Mashali, St. Patrick's East. I knew that time go happen.
Okay, bike man.
Okay, bike man, yeah, you catch me up. Yeah, but Buddha, you know that. I expect more to come, you know. I don't just see them listen to you every week.
Watch, bike man, let me tell you something. You know what fella they call I do be garden.
Yeah.
He used to use a word when he take his sores. And he used to say, they have no philoprogenitiveness. They have no love for nobody.
Exactly.
So they have no philoprogenitiveness.
Yes.
God will laugh. I do me no laugh.
Surprise.
No philoprogenitiveness.
the time of them go play off. You have a cut off point with them here. Have a good evening, brother, man. Nicely.
All right, take care, man.
We have a next call. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
All these things are happening. It's no new news, if I should say. It is so disheartening. Mr. Carl, I called about 3 weeks ago concerning a lady who talked so pitiful about another lady who needed some help. Could you, if the lady is listening, could she kindly call back the program if it's not no, because it's almost 4 o'clock or later on in the week, Wednesday.
She could call Wednesday.
If she could call back and give us the lady name or something so we could get in contact with her, please.
Yes, she's one of the good Samaritans.
Okay.
All right, you take care.
Mm.
So, Gates, what she's saying basically, there was a lady who called one of the programs and indicated that she had somebody who she knew that needed help. And she is in, I think, the United States or someone wants to try to help the person. So what she's asking for is the caller who called this radio station and indicated that this person she know need help should try to get in contact with this radio station. And we could facilitate something happening between the caller now and that person who needs the help.
Got you.
So yeah, I was saying they got no love for poor people to no feel progenitiveness. So as the caller say, that is expected. But KB, knowing the caller, I'm surprised the caller say that.
Yeah.
Bye. Give them music, man.
Yeah, man.
This is Greenwood Life.
You asking me what is wrong with Trinidad? You can't understand why things go on so bad. You find we so rich in human resources, and yet the country going to pieces. Well, let me tell you, my friend, where we went wrong. After Eric Williams' old car breakdown, we called in an AR, we ordered an X-car and installed a new driver. With 33 passengers from the party, we gave him a maxi taxi, fitted with mag wheels, tape deck, computer, air conditioned 8-cylinder. With posh new fittings, this maxi car arrived. Then it started to swerve and nosedive. It took a year for passengers to realize. They say the new driver
cannot drive. Big way. Hold the wheel. You holding the wheel. Hold the wheel, man.
How much time we have left?
We have about, let me see, 10, 11, 12, 13 minutes left.
Okay, that's good.
But KB, serious thing. We ought not to take these things for joking, because these things is affecting a lot of people, KB. Now, they may feel that they hitting only on NNP people, but remember, we live in a close-knit family.
Yeah.
So you feel I might be an NNP and you decide, okay, that is how I'm going to take my pound of flesh. But I have cousins and everybody else. What is NDC and
get affected?
Blood thicker than water.
Yeah.
Country so small. I don't know why they're back on that.
KB, there's no need to embark on this victimization, son. Now you win the popular vote, KB. You have to prove, and the Prime Minister now say government has to provide for people, you know. But then why you singling out persons for cruel and unjust treatment?
But Mr. Call, if you
Why?
If you win a lottery, I expect you to be joyous.
Yes.
I expect you to be friendly. I expect you to be in a fetting mood, not in a vexing mood, not in a violent mood, not in a hostile mood if you win a lottery. Why you vex if you win money? You're supposed to be excited. You win government. I expect you to be excited. I expect you to be more friendly than any other time. I must see love coming from you. I must see joy coming from you. Not that kind of hate. You win government, you demonstrating more hate now than any other time. Something wrong, man.
Yeah. Let me say good afternoon to
big up some people.
Denise, Jenny, Maudlin, Gracelyn, and Ralphie. I don't know if they're first-time listeners, but they're listening to us today. And some people on the live: Franklin, Winston, Gemma, Marilyn. So much people today, Carl. But only a few are texting, eh? ZA.
No, the level of information today is one they have to just listen.
Andrea Alexander. I'm going up. ICN Kathy. And Rodney. Who again? Sam.
Big up Chimney Hill.
Yeah, Chimney Hill always there.
And Chimney Hill Auntie.
That person are posting that spam on them. I will deal with them, you know.
They go try all kind of thing gates to frustrate
don't bother them.
the program.
I want to big up all the NNPIs in St. Andrews Notice system.
And what I call on KB, with all NNPIs now, I call for unity.
Yeah.
Now is that time we as NNP persons, we need to unite.
Mm-hmm.
We have things to do as Black Stalin say. Dorothy will get jammed when the time for Dorothy to get jammed. But now is not the time to jam Dorothy. We have to do what is necessary, and we have to unite as a party, because in unity you find strength, KB.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Carl. I feel
so, KB, I want you to talk to the NNP people. Use about 3 minutes to talk to them, KB.
Yeah, and we have a call right after. So the caller, hold on, let KB finish.
Yes.
No, let him take the call and then KB go talk to them.
Take the call.
No, he cut off.
Okay.
All right, KB.
Yeah, NNPites. If we stay together, if we unite, if we build the foundation, let's build our structure, our party support group, and rally behind our leader, victory will be assured. What we don't want is little cliquism to develop in the new national party. There should be one clique. The only clique should be the NNP clique. We're asking you. You will not agree with Master Carl. You may not agree with KB. But the common good, the common aim and objective is to defeat the NDC in the next general election. So we need all hands on deck. St. Patrick's East, St. Patrick's West, and St. Andrews. Pull all those vex NNP. Come back home, unite, and build the structure. Build your woman arm, build the youth arm, build your NNP groups in your village. Because you need to strengthen the pillars of the new national party. And when we build our party support group, we'll meet, we'll demonstrate love, we'll raise funds to help those people who get victimized by the NDC. And that's the only way we can survive. If we stay together and we build the structure of the NNP. Because We don't want to be as fragile as the NDC. We understand. Dr. Mitchell used to carry the load in this party for the longest while. We need to help. The only how you can help is if you get involved in the structure and you pick up the phone and you make a call to Shaggy. You make a call to Relay FM. You call on different radio stations and defend the NNP. Promote your leaders. You understand? All the wrong things that is taking place, you expose the NDC, what they're doing. Don't let them get away with it. The high cost of living, complain. You high electricity bill, complain. High inflation, complain. Don't sit down. If it's one phone call you make for the month, make it. Call and defend your party. Call and big up your party. Call and promote your party. Call and promote the leadership of the new National Party. If you have to do one thing, I tell you, for your party, do it now. Don't wait till election come around to be active. No. You have to start now. That's the only way we'll survive.
And folks, use the meeting at Bathway, you get together to rejuvenate, recharge, reacquaint, or acquaint yourself with the NNP fraternity.
Yeah.
It is important. It's not only about the revelry and the drinking and the eating,
Yeah.
but use it as a means of reconnecting, recommitting to the fight for the party and for Grenada. Let's take that call.
Hello? Hello?
Hi. Have a message for Mr. KB. Seeing this is a month of October, God has blessed him with long life, and the people perish for the lack of knowledge and information. People have a lot of misconception about Mr. Bishop and all of that. Mr. KB, personally, I would like to advise you if you could really tell Grenada a lot more about Bishop and the revolution, so it will help the young people to understand what went on in our country. Please, Mr. KB, do something according to Mr. Carl. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. We got KB. Know a lot of things. We have a next call again. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Afternoon.
Is it a case where it is the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer?
Well, yeah.
Because I just cannot understand young people with children have to send to school. Some of them in the Imani, and they are sent home, sent letters or things like that, and I just cannot understand. And it was not promised where they said that they would not send home anyone.
No one will be sent home.
No one will be sent home. So what kind of English book are we reading from?
So we're dealing with a lawyer that's very good at winning cases.
A lawyer or a liar?
Something happened on the road to Damascus, man.
I find the light shining in the eyes and he fall down. What he doing differently? Oh my goodness. Anyhow, I want to say good evening to Mr. Donald, wheresoever he is. Good afternoon from Mrs. Narega.
Okay.
And Igwe.
Yeah.
KB.
Hello.
And Mr. Master Carl. Good afternoon.
Good
afternoon.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to say. KB.
Hi.
In Karakou.
Cut off. Hold on. We have a next one again. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
They did. I don't know if the WhatsApp giving trouble. Hello? I wasn't making joke, man. Hold on. Back to the landline. Hello?
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 Yes.
Listen to the phone and not the
Hello?
TV.
And move away from the TV too.
Hello?
Kenny?
Hello?
boy, I wanted to get to you a long time because I know you're a champion. You is my champion. You have been there in and out, thick and thin, making sacrifice, committing yourself to tell us and give us information. And you're in the right place. It's a sad situation to hear Wogun and Imani again. Because that went on in 2008. And the Grenadian people, like, they forgot what the NDC did to them then. They go back and they put them back there again. So what do they expect? That's the modus operandi. That's the way they operate. NDC was born from communism. NNP was born from democracy. You will never find NDC doing things as kids. Kids do things in the interest of people. NDC does things against people. So I don't know what the Grenadian people expected. The promises that they made to them all fall along the drain. I'm sorry for them. God bless Terry. Keep up the good work, boy.
All right,
I
thank you.
listen to you.
Okay.
Bless up.
All right, we come to the end of the program, KB. Say goodbye to the people.
Yeah.
It's your show, you know.
Today was a good day for me because I come in with the cool, you know.
Yeah. Today you're slow. You're slow.
Yeah, it's really. I hope I could make it next week.
Nah, man, 3 days time, I like a sea bath and
that cool just happening.
I shut around with some line.
Yeah, got me dizzy.
Clear the throat.
Yeah, but I have to be here. You know, and NNP, stand up, stay together, unite, and we will definitely see victory next election.
Yeah.
Just stay together.
All right, later, guys. Bye. You good?